Aloha Headsets, Frank here, it's review time, and today we're looking at the Banned Footage Vol.1 DLC for Resident Evil 7. It includes 2 VHS tapes, Nightmare and Bedroom, and 1 new mode, Ethan Must Die. Now, only the VHS tapes support VR, so that's all we're going over today. So, without any further ado, enjoy!
I worked all day on that, you ungrateful prick!
You're making me angry!
Daddy, stop!
What the? So you two are gonna play a little game.
Now, the launch of this DLC surprised me. I really wasn't expecting it to come out so soon. I mean, don't get me wrong, I highly enjoy and recommend it, but knowing that it's available right away makes me wonder why they didn't just include it with the base game. I really loved Resident Evil 7, but most of that was due to the fact that I could play the entire game in VR, or, if I ever chose to in the future, can play it as a stunningly gorgeous 2D title as well. Now, because of those options and the high quality of the title, I believe the full game price is completely fair. But for those of us out there that don't have access to a PlayStation VR, it's really not worth as much to them. So the inclusion of this extremely replayable DLC with the base game really would have been awesome to see. All that being said, I loved every second with the Banned Footage Vol.1 DLC, and although we will only be going over the VR portion of it, I suggest checking it out. But, as always, don't just listen to me, take a look. Story. Now, if you haven't finished the full game, don't worry. The DLC is completely separate from the main storyline, so no spoilers here, headsets. That being said, in the Nightmare tape, you find yourself trapped in the basement where you must fight for your life to get out. It's not too deep story-wise, but honestly it feels like an upgraded version of the Call of Duty Zombies mode. Now, the other VR portion of the DLC is the bedroom tape. This mode is amazing. You wake up in bed and mama's brought you some food. The door is locked and your task, find a way to escape the room before the inevitable. This puzzle will keep you scratching your head to find the next clue. Visuals. Exact same visual quality of the main game. I was at least glad to see that this was a substantial download of 1.4 gigabytes rather than something already on disc that was date-locked. I hate when DLC is like that. Audio. Just like the main game, spot on, creepy as hell, and completely immersive. Gameplay. Now, all the menus and controls of the main game carry over in the DLC. What really hooks you is how each one is set up. In Nightmare, you start with empty pockets and 1,000 scrap, the in-game currency, and must decide where to spend your scrap amongst a wealth of weapons, upgrades, and health kits. You have 5 in-game hours to escape the basement. This basically translates to 5 waves that become increasingly more difficult as it becomes later in the night. Shoot everything, set traps, upgrade your shotgun, and when you die, and you will die, enjoy a list of unlockable upgrades to use on your next playthrough. Like I said earlier, this really reminds me of Call of Duty Zombies mode. You can get more scrap by running to the compactors and collecting it within the allotted time. There are doors to unlock, and when it's all over, you might just get your freedom. Now, the other portion of VR-supported DLC is the bedroom tape, and this may be my favorite escape the room puzzle of all time. Mind you, the fact that the entire thing takes place in VR is a big plus. Armed with only what you can find in a room, you must carefully look for clues and piece together items you find around to make your way out safely. But be careful. Every time you make a loud noise, mama's coming back, and if anything's out of place, you're in for one hell of a surprise. Motion sickness. Like the full game, I felt no motion sickness whatsoever. That being said, these DLC missions contain gameplay that is much more frantic than what happens in most of the main story. It's not really scary, but I found myself quick turning and evading enemies much more often than during the main game. So, if you felt a little queasy during your original playthrough, you either need to take it slow or maybe just steer clear of this DLC. Drift, perfecto. Value. Now, I think the main game is highly replayable, but not everyone is keen on doing the same thing over and over. This DLC brings 2 VR and 1 2D mode that are all extremely replayable, and even reward you for jumping back in. I've really enjoyed my time with them, and honestly, they're a handful of $10 games in a PS Store that are far less entertaining than this DLC. Verdict. Although these are more like missions than add-ons to the story, they are still visually stunning and sound just as wonderful as the main game. Gameplay is what really sells me though. It's fast, addicting, and most importantly, fun. I never suffered any technical issues or from motion sickness. But like I said, if you do have issues, please be careful. I love my time spent with the banned footage, and I can't wait for Volume 2.
Oh shit. No.
Well, that's it for this one. If you played the DLC yet, you're thinking of grabbing it, or you're just gonna say forget about it. Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up. And if you want to stay up to date on everything PlayStation VR, and you don't mind this ugly mug, friggin' subscribe! Hey you, check out this video, or this video. And if you haven't already, friggin' subscribe! I mean, come on!